Welcome to the installation assistance video for the Fluidmaster button operated dual flush valve. We will now demonstrate the step-by-step installation process. Make sure we've got all the tools necessary, so the appropriate wrenches, the screwdrivers, and we have all the parts to fit into the system. So we've got the filling valve, the flushing valve and the toilet connections. What we'll also need is a sponge and a towel. Okay, so we'll start. In case of ceramics, carefully remove the lid and put that to one side. We're now going to fit the flushing valve to the cistern. So we take the flushing valve, we undo the nut. Make sure this seal is intact and inside the cistern. Place the flushing valve through the central hole and then take a coupling plate with these grooves pointing downwards and place it over the thread. Then attach your back nut and tighten. Make sure the plate is square to the back wall of the system when you tighten the nut. Hold it in place and tighten. Hand tight and then further tighten with a wrench. Okay, now we're going to fit the cistern to the pan. So what we need is our bolt set and our gasket washer. So firstly, put the gasket washer around the thread and around the nut and make sure it's in place and sat nice and snug. Secondly, we get our bolts. We line the squares with the slots in the plate and then carefully lift the cistern and lower in place so the bolts will go through the two holes in the cistern like that. We then take the washer and the wing nut. So we tighten the wing nuts down. Tighten alternative sides to get even compression on the gasket. So now the cistern is secure, we're going to connect the water supply and fill the cistern. So we take our isolating valve and screw it onto the inlet thread of the filling valve. Tighten that, appropriate wrench, bit of a tweak to tighten, and turn the water on and allow the cistern to fill. So retrieve the lid, take the button assembly, and depending on the thickness will depend on whether we need this collar or not. In this instance we don't, because it's very thin. So we push the button through the hole, attach the back nut and tighten the button in place. Orientate it how you wish on the top. Take the button connection in the cistern and simply push in the clip it to the back of the button. Gently feed the cable the one way and position the lid on the cistern. You are then good to flush. So this large half gives you the full flush, this little button gives you the part flush. So if you feel you're flushing too much water and you want to reduce the amount of water that you're flushing, we can make some adjustments to the flush valve. So simply remove the lid, disconnect the button by pushing in this clip, simple clipping arrangement to disconnect the button there. Placing the lid to one side, very simply we can twist the whole valve so that it unbayonets out of the cistern. And here we have an adjuster for the full flush. So down we can increase the flush volume, up we can decrease the flush volume. So we can play around with that. For the half flush we have an adjustment on the opposite side. For down is for more, up is for less. Once we've got the desired amount, simply rebayonet the valve, twisting it back in, making sure the cable is free to operate the valve. With some cisterns the water level will be higher than in the one shown, so in that instance we need to push the clip over and move the overflow tube up to at least 25 mil above the water level. We don't want the water level overflowing down your overflow tube and into your pan. So we can adjust this simply with the clipping arrangement, up or down to the desired height. 25 mil above the water line is a minimum standard. So if you have any further problems, please contact us.